Only 3 rounds remain now for the Mario Andretti Cup, and tonight we begin the second half for the season-long Greg Moore Cup here in Season 3 of the Canadian E-Motorsports Network Indycar Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. This is another live production here on iRacing, and for this week, we are just outside of Lexington, Ohio for round number 9 of 16 for the Greg Moore Cup and round 6 of 8 for the Mario Andretti Cup. It is the Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. On the call here tonight, as per usual, the voice you're hearing right now is from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. This is Regan McCauley. On the other side, he's been here since the very beginning of the Canadian E-Motorsports Network, and for now on, I can officially say this guy is also on Prince Edward Island. This is Jordy Caraher. Jordy, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday night?
You know what? We're doing all right here, Reeks, and, second half of the season should be, primed to produce some drama, especially knowing what's coming later tonight, next week as well. This is the only thing anybody should be focusing on. Absolutely nothing to do with, any of the other stuff. We'll try and put a ban on any of that talk.
Yes. This is basically the distraction for all the American drivers that we have.
Yeah, pretty much. Without outright saying it, absolutely, that's what we're going for here.
Indeed, and as you said, too, it's going to be an eventful night. We have a race here for points for both the Greg Moore Cup and the Mario Andretti Cup, but also after the checkered flag for tonight's race, we are going to have qualifying for the first ever Canadian E-Motorsports Network Indianapolis 500. We've done the 250 for the past couple of years, but now, finally this season, we are going to finally do the actual real-life, full-distance, full-length, the Indianapolis 500, and we are going to set the starting lineup here tonight after we do the Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. And, with the Indy 500 qualifying happening there, first ever 500 for our series. Also, this is going to be our first time racing Indy cars at Mid-Ohio on iRacing to add to that as well. We raced back here a couple of years back in the NASCAR series in 2022, so nice to be back at Mid-Ohio, but we got some different cars that we're running here instead.
Absolutely. Tonight we kind of changed the game a little bit in terms of, what we've been doing historically, like you said. And you know what, Riggs? We are in this for the long haul, and you know what? I'm actually excited about it.
Indeed, we all are, and everybody involved here, drivers, everybody is indeed excited to get into that. But before we get into all the action that we are bound to get to here eventually, let's start off by going back to last week at Road America, where this guy just doesn't stop.
Yeah, but it was far from your standard method of getting there.
Yes, indeed so. I mean, it's self-explanatory. This is how close the finish was.
Yeah, one more lap, Charlie Sears gets them, I would say. Now, defending would be another thing entirely, but clearly Charlie Sears had the momentum at that point. Bradley Sexton just barely built up enough to hold on.
Indeed so. It was 47 thousandths of a second separating the two 499 racing drivers at the start-finish line. The checkered flag for the GSG 112 at Road America. And it kind of keeps going off of this storyline where we started with the season where Bradley Sexton made quite the great first impression, then he made a statement, and then over the next couple of road and street course races, we saw him actually start to get challenged. He had to go through some adversity, like at Zandvoort, where he went off the track at one point, but still came around to win. We saw Montreal, he and Sears were having a bit of a chess match between each other. Fatal error against Sears, with 2 laps remaining, is what gave Sexton the win there on the final lap. And then Sears with the charge of a lifetime within the final about 8 or so laps towards his teammate Sexton on the final lap through turns 11 to 14. They're side by side. And man, oh man, if that start-finish line had just been a couple of more feet down that Road America straightaway, he probably would have gotten him. But now, I believe it's now 3 races in a row where Sears has finished second.
I mean, that's got to get frustrating at a point here, doesn't it? Like, that's, back-to-back road courses, like you mentioned, with Montreal and now Road America. When it's weird to say that about a guy who finishes second a lot, but when is the luck going to turn in his favor? I mean, we got used to seeing things be in his favor around this time last season, it has to be said.
Yes.
But obviously a different set of challenges this time around. And I think once Charlie breaks through, if he does, I think we might have a completely different ball game. Maybe not in the Andretti Cup, but the Greg Moore Cup certainly.
Oh, absolutely. And again, to include tonight, only 3 rounds remaining for the Road and Street Course Championship of the Mario Andretti Cup. Not a whole lot of time to make things happen there. It's pretty much Sears might have to rely on his teammate probably wrecking in every single race at this point. But I don't know. The thing is, your teammates, it's like, do you hope for that or do you not really want that? Do you want the success for your team or do you want to kind of have a bit of an ego? Because for someone like Sears, as we just talked about, finishing runner-up 2 races in a row now for the Mario Andretti Cup, because that other second place finish came to, ironically, his teammate Steven Ellis at Michigan, which was another photo finish. Like, which way do you go?
Yeah. I think if the competitor in me, the best just wants to beat the best. So you want everyone on level footing at the top of their game. That way you can really make that statement. So as much as, math would certainly help if Bradley Sexton was to have some incidents here over the next few road course races to finish out the Andretti Cup, highly doubt that's the way Charlie Sears would want to do it.
This makes me think of the Indy 500 as a race where all 499 racing drivers are probably going to want to work together to try to get themselves to the end, to then battle for the win. And then final 10, 5 laps, whatever it may be, if all 3 of them are right there going for the win, it's every man for himself.
Correction, all 4, as we'll...
Or 4 too, actually,
get into a little bit later, yeah. We'll get into that full field once it comes to Indy 500 qualifying. But yes, there will be a 4th 499 driver in the equation. But again, we'll get to that in a little bit. Your point still entirely stands, though.
Yes, indeed. We will get into more of that, but obviously we still have to focus on Mid-Ohio tonight and also what happened back last week. So again, these are the race results here. Round number 8 for the season-long Greg Moore Cup. Again, the GSGSG 112. Bradley Sexton, Charlie Sears, 499 Racing 1 and 2 once again. Second week in a row. Andy Hertel with a podium finish. That's his first of the season. A great run by him. Darcy Ford and William Kern coming up with top 5 finishes. Jose Mercado 6th place. Solid for him. Jordan Kalenian 7th place. Maybe not the finish that he desired, but still pretty solid for him. The driver, the number 2, Daniel Cudmore, getting in there with a top 10. Corbin McCauley, Jason Heaney as well. McCauley was running up there up front back at Road America last week, and he looked like a driver that could potentially, be a underdog there for the win against guys like Sexton and Sears, but just there were a plethora of mistakes and just even more bad luck that, quite frankly, has plagued the 17 for a while now.
Yeah, ultimately it was a rough outlap on his one pit stop that wound up becoming his undoing, especially after he came into the pits another 2 or 3 times, I believe, over the course of the evening. And yeah, when he was on, the pace was absolutely there. Just couldn't string all the stints together, unfortunately. And yeah, that led to him dropping down the field.
And so other drivers are participating, including Mike Marini, Mark Goulet, and C.D. Magram. 13 cars participated in last week's race, and this is how it all played out for the season-long Greg Moore Cup, the overall championship point standings, where Bradley Sexton leading the way by 68 points over Charlie Sears. The top 9 pretty much staying relatively the same. Sexton, Sears, Kalenian, Hertel, Kern goes all the way from there, but yeah, Jordy, just once again, Sexton continuing to lead the way. And as you said earlier, the Mario Andretti Cup more than likely is his. It's his to lose at this point, but the Greg Moore Cup, there's still time for things to happen. There's still this whole second half of the season to do. There's still these 8 races left. And again, the second half of the season is going to be mostly oval races, which, again, Sexton has yet to win on an oval, so that could make things interesting there.
Yeah, I mean, as much as you want to say, there's been differences. He's been caught up in a couple of things, and I believe there's a 4th place finish in there somewhere. But yeah, ultimately, not necessarily threatening the victory, certainly not to the same degree as he has been on the roads and the streets. But yeah, that might be an opportunity for a couple of guys to level the playing field a little bit. As you say, 5 of the remaining 8 will be contested on the oval side of things. So still lots to play for here. And, the waiting in the schedule might have been a little bit deceptive in terms of building out these gaps. I still think there's a lot of wiggle room for things to happen.
Absolutely, and that can certainly be said for the middle of the pack, as you see a whole lot of movement between 10th and 19th, so some drivers trying to inch their way up towards the top 10 in points, maybe trying to make something happen for all those guys up there that still maintain their positions after round 8 of 16 for the Greg Moore Cup. Jordan Kalenian, 22 points back of Sears. Hertel is 17 points back of Kalenian. Kern, 16 points behind Hertel. I guess for more fun facts, Sexton, the only driver so far with over 10 bonus points out of anybody. He's got 20 to be exact. The next best number is 6, which is a tie between 3 drivers. Sexton has only finished worse than 3rd only twice, and he still is yet to qualify worse than 4th overall this season after half completed so far. 7 of 23 drivers that have made a start all season so far. Only 7 of them have started every single race up to this point, all 8 rounds thus far. There's an 107-point bubble between 1st and 4th at the moment. I think there was 100 between 1st and 5th about a week or 2 back. So certainly things have changed right there. But moving along now to the road and street course championship points with the Mario Andretti Cup, where again Bradley Sexton continuing to lead the way, remains undefeated. He's 5 for 5, still has yet to be beaten. He's going to look to go 6 for 6 here tonight at Mid-Ohio. He's got his teammate Charlie Sears in behind him by 90 points. That's different than the number of points I mentioned for the season-long points.
Mm-hmm.
It was originally 70.
Yeah, that's how it splits up.
It was originally 76, went to 90. Sears and Kalenian swapped there between 2nd and 3rd. Again, the finishes between those two were a lot different. Last week at Road America, again, Sears finishing runner-up, just fell short of the win. Kalenian finishing 7th. As I said, Andy Hertel maintaining 4th. Guys like Ford, McCauley, Kern moving up ahead. Fontaine, Ireland, Knoll, couple of drops in there. There's a couple of ties within the points in there as well. And now looking here at the Nations Cup points, where how do I put this? The United States is winning here, obviously. Do we say they're winning or not when it comes to another certain thing that what we're doing tonight is supposed to be distracting us from?
So if I was to deploy the term America first right now, that probably wouldn't go very well. But mathematically, they are in fact in first in this Nations Cup. So yeah, they're getting the job done, I think is probably the best way to put it.
I don't exactly recall the exact gap between the two countries there. It's somewhere in between like 400 and 500, but it's just self-explanatory. One country's in the thousands, almost at 1,500. The other one is just under 1,000. So pretty self-explanatory. United States with that core of guys like Sexton, Sears, Hertel, Kern, Jose Mercado in there. That's one of the best that we've ever had in the network's history here, and we're certainly seeing it here on full display in Season 3 of the IndyCar Series. Moving on now to the Rookie of the Year point standings. Obviously, the rookie term is loosely used, but we still use it to maintain our consistency from the past. Of course, it goes off the season-long points, so Sexton leading the way over Kalenian is the same deficit of the season-long points. William Kern hanging on there in 3rd, Bryce Fontaine's 4th, Jason Heaney in 5th, and then Stephen Ellis, Justin Belmonte, and Trevor Binns.
And there you have it, as I think we're just about ready, or schedule, I guess. Second half, freaks.
Yes, indeed. We are now officially moving over to this next graphic, part 2 of the 2024 Canadian E-Motorsports Network IndyCar Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue schedule. Round number 9 takes us to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the Mid-Ohio 90, presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. 40 laps, 90 miles. Let's get to qualifying, which has now officially gotten underway.
Hey, look at that for timing.
Indeed so.
And let's just make a little tweak on my side connection-wise.
And it appears this little connection tweak that Jordy was trying may have gone against him here in the software that we used to communicate with each other. Oh, man, CD Magram just went hard into the barrier there, exiting turn 1. That's not an ideal start for the Nordic Aluminum Tornado Alley e-racing driver out of Atlanta, Georgia. And now he's back.
Yeah, that was just me being stupid. Carry on.
Very well, then.
Yeah, I had the bright idea of thinking, hey, my Wi-Fi was only at 2 bars. Let's see if, an extender would work better. And, oh, by the way, you lost your internet connection. So now we're back. Now we're stable. Now we're good. Well, stable might be a bit of a misleading thing. You guys have heard me, though, over the course of 5 years now.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, there's issues going on and off the track. I mean, we just had that happen there with you, Jordy. There's a couple people, including me, that are under the weather tonight, yep. But obviously some are still participating. So my voice actually somehow is doing solid right now. So hopefully,
you sound good.
Hopefully that maintains itself. Thank goodness it's not strep throat. That would be a different story. And then there's
no kidding.
Yeah, and then there's the 22 of Bryce Fontaine, who is racing with a broken foot, but he's apparently using the other foot to multitask, I think it is. Is that what you meant?
Or compensate might be the other word you're looking for.
Sure.
But, he was making moves, it has to be said, in the practice. We'll see if that carries over into the qualifying and race setting.
Indeed. So your current leader here in this 15-minute qualifying session is none other than the guy that has finished runner-up the last 3 weeks, including Michigan there. But, of course, for the Mario Andretti Cup, it has been the past 2.
Yes.
And you were talking about earlier, it was around this time or so last season where Sears started to finally pick up his game and truly charge his way up to the top of the standings and just completely surge away from the rest of the field to earn his first Greg Moore Cup. This time around, it's a bit of a different story. Hasn't won a race yet. Plenty of runner-up finishes, plenty of top 5s, podiums, whatever it may be. And meanwhile, his teammate, on the other hand... his teammate's doing stuff.
Yeah, he's barely put a foot wrong, quite honestly. Although, it has to be said, the one time we did try to follow him for a hot lap, which we'll have to get to here at some point, he binned it, I believe. So that was the one slip-up that the 21 has had over the course of the year. Just couldn't perform live under pressure. Totally joking, tongue-in-cheek, of course.
So safely assuming that when Sexton comes back around to the start-finish line, we can do a hot lap. Are you ready?
Let's do it. I've got the track map in front of me. As we are on the start-finish straight now, you want to take your turn right as the grass ends to nail this apex out of 1. And now it's pretty much full throttle on this mini. For God's sakes. I think he's just trolling at this point.
All right, who's getting to the line the quickest here? How about I think he's... Nope, that is not it.
Well, Hertel was close, so let's go back to him.
Maybe we'll...
The Ohio guy.
Yeah, we'll go with the guy where he's racing in his home state. How's that sound?
Yes.
This all played out
like
perfectly.
A good way to go. Yeah. I mean, he's just swinging around like Ohio's a swing state as we go on to the start-finish straight. And, oh my God.
This is not going well. Okay, how about this guy?
Okay, usually pretty reliable. Coming out of the last corner for the 3rd time we're on the start-finish straight. You guys should know this by now. And, take your turn at the end of the grass there on the right-hand side. That'll get you through turn 1 nicely. And you get onto a medium length straight as we make our way down to the keyhole now. This just long, never-ending hairpin. And good wide exit there from the 17 as we're onto probably the last real long straight. Turn 3, a bit of a kink there. And now, again, second part of this straight. Now we get into the really technical part of the circuit here. uphill into this left. This is turn 5. And now we're approaching the S's section, beginning with turn 6. And up for turn 7. Quick right into 8. And now we're coming into Thunder Valley. That's turn 9. Bit of a downhill charge into 10. And a swing left here through 11. We're just about through this lap. As we're into the carousel, the final part of this lap. Turn 12, you see the pit entrance to your left. Out of 13, and there, eventually, is a hot lap of Mid-Ohio. And that has Corbin McCauley in P6 at the moment.
Yes, that moved him up over Darcy Ford, who initially had 6, I believe, there. Also, during that little sequence there, we had the 0-0. Jordan Kalenian jump up to 2nd over Charlie Sears. Still continues to be Bradley Sexton leading the way, but it's impressive to see that we have about 3/10 or so separating the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, it had been Sears at the top previously. He's been usurped here by both Sexton and Kalenian, like you said. But, you know what? Not necessarily surprised to see that. I was about to say I wasn't... Okay, now we're good with optioneering. It just had to refresh for me. Yeah, not really a whole lot to pick and choose between those two guys. Even, again, one-footed Bryce Fontaine, P4. Look at that, just 2/10 off the pace.
So Kalenian went off. Fontaine was off there for a second.
Like, that is absolute guts from the 22. Doing it with the opposite foot, mind you, folks. For some people, it's hard enough to drive with the proper foot. Try doing it in a virtual, yes, race car. But the pain is all too real if you try to do it with the right one. Now he's just circling with the left, and hey, P4, what a performance so far. See if he's able to keep this up.
Now, with a guy like Bryce Fontaine, knowing how his CEO, he's trying.
Take the good with the bad.
Knowing how his season has been going so far, like, you could make the argument that a situation like this, oh my goodness.
Whoa! Hey, you got to cross the line. That's the main thing.
A for effort.
Hey, there we go.
As I was saying, for his current situation, you could argue that this situation would be easier for him on the ovals, but then you look at his oval track records so far.
Yeah, he's, I don't want to say there's been a white flag or a towel thrown in on that, but he certainly has, not had the best luck on the other half of our configurations for this championship.
Absolutely not. It's no wonder that this guy seems to always have the momentum and the confidence in him when it comes to the road and street courses, and clearly that's where he's been able to perform at his best. And if he were to keep up this momentum here from this current this provisional 4th place position he has here in this qualifying session for the Mid-Ohio 90, we could be in for quite the storyline after tonight. And again, there is also Indianapolis 500 qualifying too, so we're going to see how he's going to handle that as well.
Yeah, well, you were saying you would think his situation lends itself better to, the ovals. This is the one night where we'll actually find out. We'll have a direct comparison.
Indeed.
And speaking of direct comparisons, he's 8/10 up on his teammate William Kern down in 10th. So that is saying something about the 22's performance here in quali.
Do we suggest to Kern to also break a foot as well?
Well, I mean, he's from New York. I don't know how far away he is from Broadway. Usually the term is break a leg, but I think that might be a little extreme.
Oh my goodness. The home state boys at the top.
Okay, here we go.
Don't you love to see this?
Well, now with Hertel taking over, it's a quarter of a second separating the top 5. Remember how at the start of the year we were saying eventually these fields are going to tighten up? Second half of the season, this looks like where it might be starting.
Oh, we recall Zandvoort. There was pretty much like 5 cars going at it for the first half of that race, and then Sexton eventually in the second half walked away with the victory with sheer domination after a couple of pit stops. There was a 1 or 2 green flag windows in there, but now maybe we finally get a race where suddenly the competition gets itself back together.
We'll find out soon enough. And again, one of the very much not in that equation right now is a guy that we've known to have speed in the past, just a matter of whether or not he can control it, and that'd be Corbin McCauley in 6/10 back right now.
Again, this guy in the Run Street courses has certainly shown his flashes of brilliance, but there always seems to be something that goes terribly wrong with him. He's got a couple of good finishes on his record thus far here in season number 3. It's that one crash. It's that crash in Montreal that really that's like stuck in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is more than fair, as we're coming up on, realistically, if you're not on track right now, you're looking at one more hot lap, probably, maybe 2.
Yeah, under 2.5 minutes to go here in this qualifying session for the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. Sexton's going to come around here to complete his lap. That might have been a hot lap, whatever you call it.
Yeah, no movement on the board, so wouldn't be a surprise.
We'll wait and see if this might end up being his last one, or if he's going to try to go for 2, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be one of the couple guys in the field that, we see low 109s right now. If there's anyone who's going to push into the high 108s, he'd be one of them.
Yeah, his best is a 109.199 at the moment. Might as well put up the qualifying times here out of each driver, the best ones.
Yeah. Like I said, 0.235 seconds covering 1 through 5 right now on the board. And you know what? There's a lot of heat on this track right now. 44 degrees Celsius track temperature. We'll see how long these alternates last.
Just wait until we get to in. Just wait. Oh boy.
Yeah, it had somebody spinning down there.
Oh, Sexton only got a 109.9.
Well, he'll have another shot at it, though. His final shot.
And what I was going to say about weather is just wait until we get to Indy 500 qualifying. Just wait.
Yeah.
That'll be a completely different story.
100%, yeah.
So just about half a minute to go here in qualifying for tonight's race. Andy Hertel leading the charge.
Yeah, he pulled out a good time when he needed it. And he's comfortable with it. He's in pit lane right now. One of 3 drivers not on track right now.
And he would become the 7th driver this season to earn a pole. Got his first win in a long time in the IndyCar Series back at Texas. Just barely over Corbin McCauley under caution. Ooh, boy.
And he bailed.
Wow.
He bailed on the lap.
I think that solidifies it unless Charlie Sears decides to maybe make things interesting at the line.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Oh my gosh.
And what did he do? He got him. Okay. Make things interesting at the line. Yeah, that's a way to do it.
Can we get a POV of Andy Hertel right now?
I mean, yeah, probably.
I'll hit the button that unmutes the voice chat, and maybe we can have our fingers crossed that we get our fingers crossed that we just so happen to catch Andy Hertel's voice being the one that we get immediately.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, he'd probably be the one guy not to get super animated over something like that.
No.
In terms of, just pure, unadulterated language.
Oh, yeah, there it is behind the scenes. He thought he had a road course pole, but congrats, Charlie Sears.
We did too.
He congratulates the number 32 for earning his second pole of the season. I believe that's actually back-to-back weeks for him on the pole.
It is. Yeah, because Sexton made the overtake during the first stint last week, and that was after, I believe, 9 or 10 laps of Charlie Sears leading, and I think Corbin McCauley might have led a little bit. No, it was 4.99 all the way. My mistake.
It was, Sears last week led 3 laps, and then he made a mistake in the middle of the course somewhere. It was
all it was?
It was into a heavy braking zone, and went into it a little bit awkwardly, and then Sexton took the lead, and he just ran away with it until Sears started to catch him within those final closing laps.
Until he started to claw back. And yeah, that could, again, we see the track temperature for what it is right now. The durability of those alternates could be called into serious question in race conditions. We'll have to see how this all shakes out over the course of 40 laps.
Indeed. So all the cars are going to line up here on the front stretch here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. I know back at Road America, we just introduced each and every one of them like as they were pacing because the track was so long. I wonder if this is we're going to do the same thing here, or are we just going to get it done and let it go?
I'd say revert back to the original standing grid.
We will do that.
Because again, it's like, just a touch over half the distance. So I don't think you'd be able to get away with it.
And so, we're going to introduce each and every one of these drivers here on the front stretch. We got 14 cars that are going to be ready to do battle here to win our first ever IndyCar Series race here at the virtual Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course just outside of Lexington, Ohio. And Jordy, again, as I said earlier, we haven't raced here within the network since Season 3 of the NASCAR Series, our final year on within the console era. July 2022 it was, and it was Jonathan Peyton getting the wins. So in terms of network history overall, we are guaranteed a new winner.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of road courses across all disciplines, Gator is about as good as you're gonna get. So I remember him dominating Road America on the NASCAR side of things too. That was just absolutely stupid what he did there. But yeah, we'll see who's about to add their name to the list of Mid-Ohio winners here soon enough.
By the way, that behind-the-scenes good one.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I thought that was pretty solid.
Anyways, with all that being said, Jordy, are you ready to meet the cars and stars that are going to go forward here tonight in the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer?
I mean, democratically, I have to say yes. So we're here. Let's do it.
That is certainly one way to put it, but let's introduce the starting lineup here for tonight's event, starting on the front row. Back-to-back poles for the driver of the number 32 499 Racing IR18 at Charlottesville, Virginia, looking for his first win of the season. Your reigning Series champion is Charlie Sears. Alongside him is the home state driver, the driver of the number 7 519 E-Racing car of Dayton, Ohio. That is Andy Hertel. Moving on now to row number 2, where we have another 499 Racing driver out of Fishers, Indiana. Yeah, Fishers, Indiana. I had a bit of a brain fart there. The driver who's remained undefeated so far in the Mario Andretti Cup, the Road and Street Course Championship. The 21 is Bradley Sexton, looking to go 6 for 6. Alongside him is the driver of the Double Zero out of Salisbury, North Carolina, your reigning NASCAR Series Rookie of the Year, looking for his first win in the IndyCar Series. That is Jordan Kalenian.
All right, and we move on to row number 3, and rounding out the top 5, Bryce Fontaine really putting his best foot forward here in his Hyperdrive Motorsports outfit out of Laverne, Tennessee to qualify 5th. And he's got 5190 Racing's Darcy Ford driving the number 64 out of Harrington, PEI on his outside. He'll start 6th. Moving along to row 4, we have the number 17 McCauley Racing entry of Corbin McCauley out of Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. And on his outside, we head to Colby, Kansas, where we find the number 13 of Jared Ireland.
Now to row number 5 to round out the top 10, where we have the driver of the number 1 Tornado Alley E-Racing car out of Atlanta, Georgia, looking for his first win of the season. That is C.D. Magram. Alongside him in a exact same situation as the driver of the number 12 car to Thunder Bay, Ontario. That is Mike Marini. Row number 6 features the driver of the number 41 GTR Motorsports IR18 at Kissimmee, Florida. That is Jose Mercado, looking for another solid finish here after finishing 6th back at Road America. And alongside him is the driver of the number 31 Hyperdrive eSports car from Dansville, New York, looking for his second win of the season and his first on a road/street course. It's William Kern.
All right, on to row 7, where we find the Tornado Alley E-Racing entry, the number 97 of Ty Higginbotham out of Kansas City, Missouri. And row 7, it seems to fit. The number 77 will end up there out of St. Catharines, Ontario. It is Hunter Young.
And so there you have it. Those are the 14 cars and stars of the 2024 Canadian E-Motorsports Network IndyCar Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, that are going to go out of here for the win in the first annual Mid-Ohio 90, presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. 40 laps, 90 miles. We're going to get to green flag action here in just a little bit. I'm going to go into iRacing voice chat here, give these guys a quick speech, and get these engines fired up to go racing here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Ohio. Stay tuned. And so the engines have been fired up here on the front stretch at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course just outside of the virtual Lexington, Ontario, or Ohio. Jesus, where was that going?
Yeah, let's offend the Ohio guy on the front row.
I'm off to a great start.
Yeah, you're fine.
I mean, one part of my message to the drivers was don't die. So
I heard
that's
that,
something.
yeah.
Anyways, Here's your race analysis. Here's your race analysis for tonight's first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. 40 laps, 90 miles. Pit road speed is 45 miles per hour. The fuel window is 22 to 24 laps, so just past halfway. Of course, the two available tire compounds are the primaries and the alternates. Of course, one tire lasting longer than the other. And push-to-pass seconds are back, of course, as well. 200 seconds per driver. So again, slipstream, push-to-pass. The multiple tire compounds were back. It's the road and street courses. This is where you got to have your strategy on top.
100%. And we're already seeing some interesting strategy calls within the top four. The drivers on the inside, the 499s, both took the primaries. Andy Hertel and Jordan Kalenian on the outside both took the alternates. So theoretically, they should have more grip. But again, they're driving on a track that is 114 Fahrenheit right now, or freedom units for our American friends. 46 degrees Celsius. So you'd think things are going to burn pretty quickly. So, might have to measure that out a little bit for the guys on the outside of those first two rows. And we'll see if 499 gets it right here, playing the long game to start.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot night no matter where we are.
No kidding. And then outside of Hertel and Kalenian, like I mentioned, the vast majority of the field taking the primaries. Otherwise, the two outliers, Corbin McCauley in 7th, Ty Higginbotham in 13th. Everyone else on the primaries.
And with all of that being said, let's go racing! IndyCar racing for the first time in Mid-Ohio in Canadian Motorsports Network history.
Yeah, nothing mid about that start from Sexton, though.
Oh, boy.
Excuse me. Hertel gets pushed out a little bit. And, yeah, that's Sexton up to P2, I do believe, right off the bat. And how about Fontaine making an early move? Kalenian, the early loser in this one.
Sears getting away early. Hertel has overtaken Sexton. But this, I thought Sexton was going to dive in there into turn number 4. But no, pretty much everybody relatively single file throughout the whole field.
Yeah, that's Hertel regaining his original position there is what that is, as Jordan Kalenian's done the same.
Fontaine drops in behind McCauley.
Yeah, a little bit of early movement here, but luckily it's been clean movement. As soon as the word was out of my mouth. Thank you. Train wreck.
Darcy Ford, the 64, goes around. Let's see what happened.
Darcy, I know where you live. Don't do that again. Yeah, well, not all that offensive, honestly.
I don't think it was even a doink.
No, it was just, a touch loose coming out of that turn.
Oh, crossover.
And that was, top 3 all using push to pass already. What do we have here?
McCauley and Fontaine going to him. McCauley stays on it. He's battling his NASCAR Series rival from last season. Jordan Kalenian, the 17, will clear the way as is Kalenian's right front gone? It is
front tire. Yeah,
the right front part of his the right part of his front wing is gone.
Oh, that's going to open up some opportunities for folks here. We'll have to see how this happened because everything seemed relatively clean to start. Yeah, Kalenian has a
the start. Yeah, they yeah.
Ooh.
They all checked up. Oh yeah, he's in trouble. He's back to 10th. He's got cars swarming all around him going into 1.
Yeah. He's just fallen like a stone here.
Top 3 back to using push to pass. Oh, Fontaine goes off.
Oh, well, I mean, again, driving with the opposite foot, control might not necessarily always be there, but heck of an effort to get into the top 5 to begin with, qualifying-wise. we'll have to see how the race pace holds up. Oh, nice little dive. Oh, who's coming from behind?
Higginbottom got squeezed by Kalenian as he was trying to get by him.
Man, oh man. That's the... You shouldn't have left North Carolina from Kalenian to Higginbotham there.
The top three are within about a second, and they're about 5-6 seconds ahead of the rest of the field.
The fact that we're talking about 3 instead of 2,
yes,
that in and of itself is fantastic.
Now, if we can just keep this for the second half of the race as well.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
again,
boy.
I think the question there again will be, Andy Hertel being on the alternates as we see Hunter Young just missing the apex completely.
Yeah, actually, no, he had an issue beforehand. He hit one barrier, and then he later went and hit the other.
Not the ideal night, to say the very least.
Meanwhile, these top three, completely different story.
Oh, man, this is fantastic, isn't it?
Riding on board with the guy that's following in behind the top two at the moment. That's Bradley Sexton, 5 for 5 in the Mario Andretti Cup, as we've talked about multiple times here tonight. Ahead of him are both guys that still have yet to win on the road and street courses. Of course, Hertel does have that win back at Texas, but certainly wants to try and have some success with the left and right hand turning as well.
I was going to say, Sexton very much not used to following on road courses, it has to be said, as, yeah, there's Kalenian finally getting in.
That's certainly not going to help the 0-0 when it comes to season-long and road and street course championship points.
Indeed not, but, you know, again, maybe a blessing in disguise that he's able to get the alternate off a little bit earlier. Again, the question going into tonight is how long it was going to last given the track temperature. I'm assuming he'll ditch that and take care of his tire mandate here now and switch to the primary. So, yeah, we'll see. Obviously, Kalenian will have to come in again regardless because of the fuel windows. But we'll have to see what kind of performance the 0-0 is able to offer once he gets back on track.
Maybe Sexton should pay attention to the live chat here, because a certain teammate of his that got a win a couple weeks back recently says he's slow.
Oh, boy. I mean, we'd love to see that guy on a road course at some point to actually back that up a little bit. Might just throw that out there. But that's not how that's going to go.
Oh, the push to pass of the 21. He's going to dive it in against Hertel. Going into turn 4.
And ace defending here from the 7. Well done.
Great defensive effort there by the number 7 driver, who holds together there as Charlie Sears starting to approach Jordan Kalenian and put him a lap down, as Hunter Young officially out of the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. That's a heartbreaker.
Indeed so, and I mean, he experienced similar issues at Road America last week, if memory serves, so...
I was back on pit road.
Ideal run of form. Yeah, Kalenian, I wonder if he's about to call it a night here.
That would be even worse when it comes to the points, as I was saying earlier. Jeez.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe there's, you know, we obviously saw the damage to the front wing. I wonder if there was something a little more, you know, sustained there that's making the car perhaps more undrivable.
Indeed, and, you know, obviously Steven is watching here tonight, not participating in the Mario Andretti Cup, but despite that, we still have Indy 500 qualifying tonight. Do you have any knowledge, or maybe Steven's going to tell us if he's participating in Indy 500 qualifying or not?
Well, I mean, we have him on our board. I believe he would be projected to start 17th if he does happen to pop in. I mean, realistically, for 3 minutes, hopefully that's a battle he can win.
Okay, no, he's going to have to start at the back of the field next Tuesday. He's currently at the U17 World Hockey Challenge. I forgot that was happening. So, Steven, hopefully you're having a great time there. And, yeah, no better way to cover a hockey tournament than by, I don't know, taking the phone out or on the laptop. Just I don't know if it's like secretly or something, watching Canadian E-Motorsports Network racing.
Oh, man.
That's the best way to take in a hockey tournament and cover it.
Hey, no arguments here.
Oh man, these top 3 guys are starting to close in.
Yeah, it fluctuates kind of from 7/10 to 9/10.
Steven has all the confidence in the world against Bradley Sexton next Tuesday.
Good old keyboard warrior in full effect.
I mean, to be fair, yes, Sexton is 5 for 5 on the road and street courses, but he still hasn't won an oval race, which Ellis has.
This is true.
Your grandma could drive him?
Wow, okay. Jeez.
Can we get Bradley's radioactive? Do we know at all if he has... Does he have the broadcast on the side or something? Would he be paying attention to what we're saying? As, oh boy, push to pass. Sears trying to defend away from Hertel. Hertel trying to catch up. Sexton has dropped back.
Well, the reason Hertel's a bit closer is because it looked like Sears had run a little wide maybe a couple of turns earlier.
Yeah, I believe that's what you're reacting to.
Even Hertel almost looked like he was going sideways. Might have been just the angle for me, though. But yeah, it's funny. Like, I have to account for the delay, I guess, in the stream because, you know, I'm obviously reading the latest of Steven's chirps, but forgetting that, you know, that's not the monitor I should be watching.
So Sears has continued to lead every single lap in this one thus far. Now 9 laps led. We're on lap number 10 of 44, the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. Again, this guy trying to find some sort of luck to get his first win of the season. Oh, man, Sexton Hertel got close there. Going into turn 1.
Oh, man.
There was a dive bomb, but Hertel maintains the position. Now Sexton's going to try and get the run here. Down through turn 3, towards turn 4. They make contact.
Yeah, Sexton was trying to go outside on the keyhole on Hertel here. And
more contact.
Yeah, I think they bumped again, yeah.
But Hertel is the inside. That they touched a third time.
Yeah, I wonder, though, if this is where the effectiveness of those alternate reds is starting to go away a little bit. Sexton, a little more comfort on the primaries. It's felt like he's had the speed, but Hertel just a fantastic defensive effort here over the last half lap to a lap to keep Bradley Sexton behind him.
And this has caused Sears to pull away by almost about 1.8 seconds. 2 seconds now. Getting there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's absolutely zero complaints from the number 32 out front.
Steven, do you have anything to say for Andy Hertel now?
Yeah, the accidental trackside reporter.
Jose Mercado ended up doing a lot of that back in NASCAR.
Yeah, without making it sound like a chirp, he kind of did, but you know, it was very helpful.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like whenever he ran to bad luck, he turned it right around and helped us out in the chat. So that's not a chirp. It's not.
And nope, absolutely not.
Look at Sexton just swerving all over the place.
Yeah, you're not necessarily used to see. Well, granted, you're not used to seeing him trying to find ways by people either, because usually he's long gone. But this is presenting an interesting challenge here because, again, Andy Hertel showing more than capable defensively and just able to get his car into the right spots. Sexton doesn't really have an answer. He's certainly tried. And at one point, the straight line speed was there to the point where he could get him. But now it feels like he's falling back just a touch.
So Kalenian is back out on the tracks, still a lap down. He was in his pit box for 18.5 seconds.
Okay, and now interesting is that he did stay on the alternate tire. I was wondering if he was going to satisfy the tire requirements straight away and make the move to the primary, but Kalenian's going to stick it out.
Hertel's still trying to stick it out himself.
Yeah, while, Sexton's just trying to stick the nose in any possible overtaking opportunity. But looking at the gap, he's not close enough to be able to do it right now.
You see him taking it a little bit high up there into one, and then trying to get a good exit off the inside, off the curb. Hertel using push to pass to defend, get away. Sexton hasn't used any for the past lap or so.
Yeah, I mean, Hertel runs a little bit of a risk getting into no man's land here if, he's not quite close enough to get the slipstream of Charlie Sears. Sexton has a little bit of a snap there out of the corner. But yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, he wants to defend from the 21, does Andy Hertel, but ultimately, if he's unable to get to a point where he can benefit off of the 32 punching a hole in the virtual air for him, he's still susceptible and prone to being caught as they're set to complete another lap.
Meanwhile, through the rest of the field, Corbin McCauley holding firm in fourth. Jarrett Ireland is fifth. C.D. Magram at some point dropped him back to sixth. Bryce Fontaine trying to hold off Ty Higginbottom for the 7th place position. Mercado is 9th. Darcy Ford is 10th. Again, trying to recover from what happened there. I believe it was in between turns 10 and 11. Mike Marini is 11th. William Kern is 12th. Sears might be on his way to lapping him in a couple of laps. Jordan Kalenian still a lap down. He just got past the start-finish line. Of course, Hunter Young, the only DNF so far in this race. 12 cars on the lead lap. So battles for 2nd and 7th going on at the moment.
Well, yeah, going back to that 7th place battle, how about Ty Higginbotham? He started this one 13th. He's climbed to 8th, and, with a known weakness tonight in the 22 of Bryce Fontaine with that 1 foot, although, again, still admirably hanging on. Maybe there's an opportunity for Higginbotham to make a move in the not-too-distant future.
Indeed, this battle here between the 7 and 21 still continuing to do its thing. Sexton will catch up just a little bit, but then start to fall back. And then we saw what we saw there while we were on board with him through China Beach and the S's. Might have gotten a little bit too confident with getting close to him.
Yeah, just couldn't quite make it stick, so to speak. And, the gap's under half a second now, so might be in a position to try something here half soon. But as soon as he gets a full mouthful of that turbulent air, it seems like Andy Hertel switches into another gear.
Indeed, and we're about 7-8 laps away or so from the green flag pit window.
Or at least what we would anticipate it being.
Indeed.
Because, again, we thought that, and this might have been from a little bit of bad math last week as well, we thought the fuel window was going to be such at Road America that it was going to be 2 stops, but good chunk of the field wound up getting away on the 1. So we would expect that tonight, just given the 22 to 24 projection. But if you can go a little bit longer and say you're a guy on the primaries, the less time you spend on the alternates on such a hot track, that might be for the better.
Sexton's going to try again.
He's going to have the better line here, though. I think he's through.
Oh, Hertel's not letting him go.
On the inside. Oh, man.
Oh, he finally did.
I mean, valiant battling for so long from the number 7. But again, it feels like now, like I mentioned it a little bit earlier, it felt like that might have been where the alternates were starting to go. They would absolutely be screaming at the number 7 right now compared to Sexton still on the primaries.
Oh, absolutely. And while all that battling was going on, Sears was just getting away with all his might, well over 4.5 seconds ahead of the 21. Sears just getting into turn 1. And there's Sexton back there. Or turn 2, excuse me.
Yeah, and therein lies a key difference from last week as well. Last week, Sears and Sexton were on alternate strategies tire-wise. This week, they're playing straight up. They're both on the primaries, and both will have to switch to the soft. So that's where we saw eventually Charlie Sears clawing that gap back, was the tire discrepancy. No such advantage this time around unless there's an undercut in play.
Hertel not letting Sexton get away too far, though. Only 7/10 or so separating those two for second place. It looks like Sexton is starting to ever so slightly decrease the gap between him and his teammate. But then it goes right back to normal. It's kind of back and forth.
Indeed, and now I was talking about how the tire discrepancy doesn't apply to the 499 guys. It certainly applies to Andy Hertel. Again, he'll be switching to the primary in his 1 stop, so it should theoretically hold up better over the course of that second stint. Now, track temperature is going down a little bit, but still pretty hot at 113. It was at 111 there a minute ago. Must have just heated up again. That's
Higgy.
That's Higgy in pit lane.
The number 97 goes to the primaries.
And that's an early stop, it has to be said. But if we're looking at the fuel windows, like if we're expecting 22 to 24 for the majority of the field, maybe that's smart just to lose those alternates as early as possible.
And yeah, when you were talking about Hertel there, swapping over to the other tire compound, you saw how he was defending there on the alternates. Now he's going to go over the primaries, while Sears and Sexton are on entirely different strategies. Like, how's that going to play?
Well, obviously, 499 guys will have the early advantage with the increased grip on the alternate compound, but yeah, this one could potentially come back to the Dayton, Ohio product a little bit. Just a matter of, absolutely nailing the pit stop whenever that comes and just making sure that the 499 guys don't get outside of striking distance.
Like, he was able to block Sexton for most of that long run. Now, can he charge in a long run is the big question with a different tire compound.
I mean, he'll certainly have nothing to lose in that regard, I don't think. Yeah. So, absolutely, it's a possibility.
4.5 seconds now, down to 4.2. It's going back and forth there between the 32 and the 21.
And that's the other thing. If the 499 gap starts to, or continues to diminish, and they start battling each other, that could also bring Andy Hertel back into play. So, very much a 3-horse race here tonight, I would have to think.
Potential battle beginning to brew here between the number 17 of Corbin McCauley and also Colby, Kansas's Jared Ireland for Central Flyaway Racing. This is for fourth.
Hey, who said we can't have multiple battles here? As the track temp has gone up to the highest I've seen yet, a $1.16 in freedom units, 47 Celsius.
Just ever so slightly more scorching.
Yeah, I mean, the burning rubber is just burning that little bit more.
And Charlie Sears has officially reached halfway through the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. 20 laps to go.
And, yeah, nobody out of that top three anyway biting in terms of pit stops, although Corbin McCauley certainly has out a fourth.
The top three don't bite just yet, but somebody in the top five does eventually, and so the 17 will make his way in.
And so this would be another alternate to primary switch.
So another driver playing the long run game there. In between 4 and 4.5 seconds is now down to about 3.5 between the 32 and the 21. Again, we still have this green flag pit window to get through, so again, there's a whole lot of factors here at play. As I believe Darcy Ford just came off a pit road. Magram and Fontaine just made contact.
Okay, that's again, if you're Mangrum, as much as you need to keep control in your head, you got to be throwing your hands up in the air a little bit, saying, what do I have to do to get even a little bit of good fortune this season?
Oh yeah, the left front.
Yeah, it would appear that the 22 will have come out the worst of that. Yeah, there it goes.
That was Netco that came back.
Well, would you look at that? Tennessee and Georgia, you wouldn't think necessarily that netcode would be quite so prevalent between those two states, but hey, here we are.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, typically with netcode, you would think that further the distance, the harder it would be for the iRacing platform to judge the line properly in an online setting. So, again, those two states relatively close. You'd think probably operating on similar servers. But, hey, it happens.
So the top 7 plus Mike Marini and Will Kern have yet to come to pit road. Sears is starting to approach Kern to put him a lap down.
And now the question becomes, how much longer can Andy Hertel hold on to those alternates? Because 23, we've seen, Higginbotham and McCauley both come in 18 and 20 respectively. And we'll have to see how much longer the number 7 is going to be able to hold on. He's certainly given it a go.
$4.99 guys. Oh no, Sexton's gonna go. Not Sears. Sexton budges.
Okay. That's an interesting call here. And yeah, Hertel will slide up into second as a result. But yeah, we'll see now how long Sears is able to stay out, because this is the high end of the fuel window, at least as we originally projected.
Sears uses push to pass while lapping the 31. So he, Hertel, Ireland, Magram, Fontaine, Mercado, and Marini And then, of course, Kern still have yet to make their green flag pit stops.
Yeah, that's smart from Charlie Sears, perhaps recognizing Bradley Sexton going in. This might be an in-lap for him as well. Not taking any chances, getting into as much clean air as he can to finish up this lap as fast as possible before inevitably making his move in, which he's done right now.
So your race leader, Charlie Sears, goes to pit road. Andy Hertel's going to join him.
Okay, and you know what? He held that gap not too bad, it has to be said. Like roughly 4 seconds, I think, was what it was when Sears initially went to pit lane. And yeah, we'll see where Sexton comes out. This is turn 13. Drag race here.
Oh, boy.
Let's go. And Andy Hertel's not going to be far away from this either.
Oh, he's in for way longer than he should be.
Oh, I wonder if there's, some unknown damage that might have come into play somewhere.
Yeah, again, I mean, you saw him and Sexton make contact multiple times on that one lap in particular.
True. But now he's got, 15 laps to try and do something about it.
Again, too, it is the long run. And we saw him again on the other tire compound. He was able to defend in the long run for the most part. Eventually, then got passed. But now here, he's on the longer lasting compound. So now in this long run with 16 or under 16 laps to go, is he going to be able to catch up?
Well, it's the more durable compound, but it's a much shorter stint. So I think it's all systems go for the 7 as Jared Ireland makes his way in from the lead. Okay, 0.2 of a second, or it was briefly that between Sears and Sexton. Let's keep it there the rest of the way, yeah?
Oh, we're getting another chapter of this.
Yeah, instead of this one only lasting a couple of laps, though, this is almost half a race we're going to look at, potentially.
Yep, it's yet again Sears versus Sexton. Are we ever gonna see that chapter where maybe the two of them both get together?
I mean, it certainly wouldn't be intentional, I don't think, but it's not unheard of.
We've come damn close to that for the past 2 road courses.
Yeah. Just like we were wondering on the NASCAR side when Kalenian and Macaulay would come together.
Yeah.
They did it a couple of times, but nothing overly egregious.
No. And see, that's kind of the thing that you were preaching especially, and then Sexton talked about in last week's post-race winter interview after Road America. He was just going on and on about the respect between those two in that final lap battle from turns 11 to 14. I don't think they even made contact at any point whatsoever. There might have been one car that might have gone off just a little bit. But side by side through some of the toughest road course corners in all of North America, and they made it back to the line almost perfectly side by side like that. Like, you got to talk about that.
Oh, I mean, it was masterclass might be a bit strong on the virtual side, but it was fantastic to watch regardless. And, we saw 2 of the best that we've seen on the IndyCar side of things just absolutely duking it out. And it was, a spectacle.
And again, those are the kind of battles that we love to see. We don't always want to see a driver every single week just fly away with the victory. Sexton did do that early on in the season, but as the season has progressed, you've even pointed it out multiple times that every race that comes along, these drivers, this whole field is going to start to come together eventually, and we are starting to see a little bit of that. It's not the whole field, obviously, but we are starting to see some drivers who, like some superstars who may have started off the season a little iffy, now they're starting to come together.
Absolutely, and, those gaps that you're seeing, we're not at the point we were at, say, Long Beach, where we nearly had the entire field lapped. It's not that anymore.
No.
It's very much, more competitive through the fields as guys got more comfortable. This was the kind of thing that, we were cautioning about at the start. Like, yeah, it could look a little bit ugly in the beginning, but as guys pick it up, as guys figure out, how the Jesus, I stuttered there. That was not a delay on my part. The IR18 is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
As they started to pick it up a little bit more, there's comfort that's always going to come with that, and that's come out in, the improved performances that we've seen across the board.
Absolutely, and I think you stuttering is better than me nearly saying Lexington, Ontario, so it's all good.
True. That is a very good point.
And apparently Stephen Ellis is going to run Detroit just so that he can put Brad 15 laps down.
Jeez.
You were saying keyboard warrior, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll find that out in about, where are we, 3 weeks' time?
Yeah. Something. That is not what I was looking for. That is not what I was looking for. There we go. 2 more after next week.
At any rate, forget 499. These guys might end up at 8 Mile by the end of that one.
Well, I mean, just think about after this. Think about after tonight comes to an end. We got the Indianapolis 500. We got the Belle Isle Grand Prix. We got the Iowa doubleheader, the Bangarang 125s, or Bangarang. Yep. It's the Bangarang 250 with the two twins 125ers. Then we got Auto Club. Again, Auto Club. Laguna Seca and Nashville Super Speedway to round it all out. Like, again, you got the Indianapolis 500. It's the biggest race on the calendar aside from the championship race. You got Belle Isle. It's one of the tougher road/street courses on the calendar. You got a doubleheader at Iowa Speedway. Auto Club Speedway is self-explanatory. Last season, Laguna Seca, pretty solid track. I would like to think it's a bit underrated. And the Nashville Super Speedway is all about tire wear.
It is, but it's also the great unknown for our particular group of drivers because we haven't raced it in any of the series on any platform. So that's going to be a new challenge for everyone, and I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully it's still at the point where it's a title decider. Yeah,
Steven says he's missing the Iowa doubleheader, but otherwise he's not letting Brad beat him. He's slow.
Oh, man.
So yeah, last season for NASCAR was Jose Mercado being a fantastic, quote-unquote pit road reporter. And now this season for IndyCar, it's the road and street. It's the road and street course nights where we have Stephen Ellis just love hating his teammate,
being a Letterkenny level of menace.
Yes,
right now.
That is a perfect comparison.
Meanwhile, to get serious for a moment, we do have another retirement in the form of Jordan Kalenian. We should have mentioned that a little bit earlier. Maybe getting a couple extra minutes of Indy practice in.
Yes.
But, yeah, just deciding to cut his losses in the proper race here, and he's our second retirement.
So, yes, Kalenian and Young, their nights at Mid-Ohio are done, but they still have a chance to end the night on a high note with Indianapolis 500 qualifying. And then when I say that, and then I go back to a conversation I had with Corbin earlier where it's like, there's a possibility that every single driver in Indy 500 qualifying could crash on their first lap. That's just how bad the track conditions and the weather conditions are going to be.
Oh man, you'd obviously have more insight on that than I would right now, but looking forward to seeing how that will transpire here. And, we don't have to wait much longer to find that out.
Yeah, not under 9 laps to go here in the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. Half a second between the 32 and the 21. Yet again, another chapter where it's one guy undefeated in the Mario Andretti Cup And another guy, the reigning series champion, still winless ever since he won the championship finale last year.
Yeah, this kind of has shades of Montreal right now, doesn't it? With
Somewhat.
Sears in the lead, trying to hang on. And ultimately, it was a late mistake that propelled Brad Sexton to the front. For Charlie Sears' sake, he's hoping that history doesn't repeat itself here.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any chance of Andy Hertel catching up. He is 20 seconds back of the top two.
Yeah, well, I mean, Hertel going 24 on the alternate, that tells you probably all you need to know in terms of any worry about the tires falling off a cliff for the 499 guys. Honestly, Hertel's bigger problem is going to be Jared Ireland, just a little over a second back.
Yes, indeed. And Macaulay is 11 seconds back of the 13. So if he can maybe do a little bit of catching up within these final 8 laps, then maybe that could be an interesting battle there for that final podium position. But not a whole lot of time, of course, right there. Darcy Ford trying to hang on over Bryce Fontaine and Jose Mercado for 7th. So you said earlier we're getting a couple of battles throughout the whole field, which is nice to see.
Absolutely, we are. Oh, I wonder if that was just a touch wide on the exit there, but it looks like no harm, no foul.
Yeah, both of these 499 racing guys have had their fair share of mostly right side tires going off exiting turn number 1. It's been mainly the 21 that's had that case happen.
And I mean, that's the thing about these two guys, like compared to the lion's share of the field, these are just incremental differences between, drivers of this caliber and, the lion's share of what we're seeing throughout the field. Otherwise, they know or have a better sense of where the absolute limit is of where they can push or where they can get to without having anything happen to the car. And being able to walk that fine line, that's going to get you time no matter where you are. So again, you're seeing that play out here a little bit in this second stint, I would have to think.
So 12 cars remaining in this race. 10 are on the lead lap. Ty Higginbottom is the last one on the lead lap. Don't know if the 32 is going to catch up to him in time or not to make it 9 cars on the lead lap. But all that matters right now is this top 2 here. Half a second separating both of them. They're both using push to pass.
Hey, I mean, no sense leaving anything behind here now. I'd be curious to see what the push to pass numbers look like, because that's the one thing that Optioneering doesn't give us, where we love the other stuff that they do, and we also love our other sponsors, which we should probably get to soon enough. But yeah, that's the one variable that couldn't quite figure out before.
Yeah, I might as well completely destroy my sore throat here and be like an auction person. Thanks very much to Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, Rampage Coffee Co., Piping Kettle Soup, Fourth River Brewing Company, Bangarang Hard Seltzer, Nordic Aluminum, GSGSG, Vinyl 3D, GTR, and of course, as you said, TrackCams22.com. Thank you very much for providing us with these outstanding broadcast camera angles that are possible here only on the iRacing platform.
Yeah, if I'd been thinking ahead a little bit, I would have gotten you to send me the sponsor list, and I could have handled that for you tonight, but we're soldiering on, just as these two are soldiering on.
Yeah, I sacrificed my vocal cords there just a little bit, but I'm going to have to within these final couple of laps, because this battle right here, oh baby, buckle up.
Yeah, I think Sexton's starting to get a little bit impatient behind his teammate, and, just the competitive instinct, that Brad Sexton's going to want to try and maintain this perfect run if he can. But Charlie Sears, there's, something to be said for hunger in terms of actually finally getting the job done this season as well. And again, it could set the tone for the second half of the season for him overall. And if he's able to hold off his teammate here at the end, oh man, you see just how close it's getting. Oh boy, this is going to get spicy here before too long.
And you were saying Sexton wants to keep this perfect streak going. I mean, he's just about like half a second away from going 6-4-6. Like that's swirling all over his mind right now.
Yeah, and he was 2/10 back coming out of turn 1 there. Sears used to push to pass on that straight. Sexton did not, so he is absolutely staying with him. And is he going to try something on the outside?
Oh, he had a bit of a slide.
Well, that's where he tried to send it on Hertel earlier. They had their multiple bits of contact, too. But again, didn't quite work for him.
And then meanwhile, Andy Hertel's trying to hang on over Jared Ireland as they're approaching the China Beach.
Yeah, and again, a little bit surprising that Hertel wasn't able to claw more into the advantage at the top. But yeah, we're looking at another dandy of a battle there for that final podium position.
Indeed. And again, if Sexton were to go on to win this, if he gets past Sears and Hertel hangs on for third over Jared Ireland, that's going to be yeah, I believe that's going to be back-to-back weeks of the same podium.
Well, yeah, same podium, same order. If, as you say, Sexton's able to flip it. But,
hopefully not literally.
well, I was going to say the 32, he's obviously going to have something to say about that. And it looks like he's taking some better lines through this technical part of the circuit. Maybe a little wobble from Sears out of that turn.
Hertel and Ireland both on push to pass. One guy defending, and the other chasing after a podium finish. There goes Ireland. Up high. Oh my God, a bit too high there. Trying not to make contact. Ireland a wiggle. The 13 of the wiggle. Hertel hangs on as the top two had just reached 2 laps to go.
Yeah, big snap of oversteer there from Jared Ireland coming out of that turn. Otherwise, I think he might have had the move done, but of course, we've talked at length about Andy Hertel's fantastic defending over the course of the evening as well, so he wasn't going to be giving that one up easily by any stretch, but oh boy, I think we are in for some absolute madness here over the last lap and a half here.
Yes, for the Mario Andretti Cup, this is the 3rd consecutive chapter of these two drivers duking it out for the win. Can 3rd time's the charm be it for the 32?
Well, I mean, he's certainly in the driver's seat right now, and he is, absolutely keeping the car where he needs to be, but a bit of a snap there coming out of that turn.
He wiggled for sure there.
Nothing should be taken for granted.
Not at all, especially as now, coming through the carousel, turns 12 through 13, white flag.
Yeah, here we go. Sears, he's basically been the guy wire to wire here. Will he be able to bring it home? Not much time for Sexton to make a move, and they're both on push to pass. He's not going to be close enough to try the outside of the keyhole. But again, once we get into kind of the S's and the more technical part of the track, that's probably going to be the 21's best chance.
They're both using it down this long straightaway past turn 3 into turn 4. These technical corners, as you were talking about earlier when we were describing the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course and during that hot lap, 3rd time's the charm on that also, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of 3rd time's the charm, it looks like Sears is holding on here for now. Coming through Thunder Valley.
Geez, there's a ton of cars using push to pass throughout the whole field. Oh, they're both on it again.
Oh, boy.
Can it be? Finally. It's been 8 rounds going winless for the 32 of Charlie Sears. Can he get it done? It looks as though it's going to happen. Yes, it will. Welcome back to Victory Lane, Charlie Sears.
Oh, man, that is thoroughly deserved for the 32. Final margin is 0.437 seconds. It felt like it was fluctuating around that margin for the entire second stint between these two. As soon as we saw it was a drag race off of pit lane between when Sears came out and when Sexton was coming through, we knew we were in for an absolute show, as Hertel putting on a show of his own here to wrap up third place. Like, honestly, Riggs, if we did driver of the day, I think it would be really hard to figure out who it was today. Like, Sears wire to wire and, was able to hold up under pressure. But again, Andy Hertel did a fantastic job as well.
As everybody comes around here to the start-finish line, Ireland and McCauley both with top 5 finishes. The podium stays the exact same from last week except for one position. Of course, the top 2 swapping. As Ty Higginbottom comes around to be the final car, finishing on the lead lap in 10th place.
And the fact that we're talking about 10 cars on the lead lap, again, that speaks to the evolution of the drivers over the course of this season.
It may have taken him 8 rounds, but it was a long time coming. And man, oh man, is this ever going to give him momentum for tonight in Indianapolis 500 qualifying and also going into the Indianapolis 500 next Tuesday night. And as we were talking about earlier, it was around halfway through last season when Sears, it was 1 or 2 wins that really started to get him back on, back on the momentum track. And that is how he was able to ride his way to a Greg Moore Cup. Could this potentially be what he needed to now get back into that chase against the 21?
It'll be interesting. I wonder if it was maybe a couple races too late to get in there, but hey, you still have to start somewhere regardless. And the fact that he's gotten over that hump, that could be a huge confidence boost for the 32. Has to be.
So the 32 and the 21 are lined up. I think Hertel may have realized a little too late there to go back, but now he's going to.
Yeah, just wanted the home state drive, that's all.
Yeah. So he's going to come back around here to the start-finish line for the podium finishers photo. So there is your top 3 for the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer.
And it went out with a bang, let me tell you. But the crazy thing is, as great as this was, this night's far from over.
Indeed.
Now, I guess the question is, what was our protocol for post-race interviews last year? Did you wind up doing 2?
I think we might as well go into here and try to get it done with the 32, and then we can go straight into Indy 500 qualifying.
May as well. It'll give time to kind of migrate from, lobby to lobby.
Yeah, and I got to change a whole bunch of settings behind the scenes here and everything. So obviously it'll be a different live stream that we will be operating on for Indianapolis 500 qualifying. So stay tuned to our social media pages, or quite frankly, stay here on the YouTube channel, and we will eventually be live for that. As the 32, a long time coming, finally is able to burn it out on the front stretch of a track.
Yeah, you were wondering if maybe the second places were going to burn him out at some point, but yeah, now he's finally exercised that and proven that he's still absolutely got it. Not that anyone doubted it before, but this is a statement of intent here, I would suggest.
Indeed. So to get the unofficial results here, get through them pretty quickly. The 32 of Charlie Sears out of Charlottesville, Virginia for 499 Racing. Finally, all drivers from 499 Racing are now have visited victory lane here this season for the 2024 Canadian Motorsports Network IndyCar Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Bradley Sexton's perfect streak in the Mario Andretti Cup finally comes to an end.
I mean, 5 wins in a second.
That's what I'm paying.
Something?
That's what I'm paying attention to right now.
Yeah, I very much was not.
As he continues to do that, we'll just go through the rest of the unofficial results. Andy Hertel with yet again another podium finish. Jared Ireland and Corbin McCauley both with top 5 finishes. CD Magram 6th, Darcy Ford 7th, Bryce Fontaine 8th with a broken foot, mind you. Jose Mercado 9th, Ty Higginbottom rounding out the top 10. Okay, you have to increase the field, damn it. Mike Marini 11th, 1 lap down. William Kern 7 laps down in 12th. Jordan Kalenian the 00, a tragic finish for him, 18 laps down in 13th. Collected some early race damage. That's certainly going to, oh my. Oh, he spun it back around perfectly, nice. Kalenian is certainly going to fall into a bad trap in terms of points for season-long and the road and / street course championship points. Hunter Young, 38 laps down, finishes in 14th. Early, technically 2 crashes for him that eliminated him out of the race eventually. I wonder if we could interview him while he's doing this.
I mean, why not?
I'll give it a shot.
Is there?
Charlie, this is Regan up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy as you're doing your thing.
Yep, I hear you, Regan. I'm, just taking the other way around the track.
Yeah, as you're doing that, obviously a long time coming. Finally, 8 races in a row, not going to victory lane for the first time since the championship race last season within the IndyCar Series, or Dart, however you want to put it. Finally, you're back in victory lane. You finished runner-up for the past couple of weeks, and now, finally, you can now say that within 499 Racing that you have a win. Now, all 3 of you guys have a win here this season. How does it feel to finally have that off your shoulders, that first win this season?
It's great. It's been a while. I have come in second quite a bit recently, as I've been reminded, and I thought it might happen this time too. It was a heck of a race. Like, Andy had a crazy lap. I was very fortunate to put in just an absolute heater on that last lap of qualifying to take pole position. And it's a tough track to start on, so I was thankful to kind of get away. But Andy was just flying on the alternate tires there at first. And then, Brad right behind me, like, it's a tough track to pass. I think that's what saved me. He was right there. He had a few looks at it, and it's great to finally have a win, and I'm thankful for like the tough battles everyone's been putting up throughout the whole season.
Yes, indeed. The battles have certainly gotten better and better over these past couple of races, and now finally you beat your teammates' streak here. You went 5 for 5. Now it's 5 for 6 here in the Mario Andretti Cup. But I mean, again, it was yet again another chapter between you and the originally perfect teammate of yours throughout the past couple of weeks. I mean, Montreal, Road America, especially last week, man, you fell just short on that one especially. But now to finally come out and get the victory here against a guy like that, knowing the track record that he's put on this season, his first season here in the Canadian E-Motorsports Network. Walk us through that second stint in particular, because you saw him coming down the start-finish straight as you came out of the pit lane. How quickly at that time did you have to lock in a defensive mindset, and then within the final 10 laps or so, make sure that you stayed in front of him and were the first to the checker flag?
I mean, absolutely immediately. I came out of the pits, and by the time I was up to speed, Brad was only a second behind me. He's in the draft, like, he's stuck behind me the whole way, unless either of us make a mistake. My only kind of hope was he was doing a bit more damage to his front tires, taking the air off of his front wing there as he's following me. But it just, I was immediately on the defensive. Went from about 3.5 seconds of a gap to 1 second. Brad just has I don't know where he's finding 2 seconds on the pits. I guess it's his launch out of the pit box and like just great timing coming in and out. But he was flying. So the whole time, I was on the defensive. I knew I had more push to pass, and I had overfueled a bit so I could utilize all of it. And that was really what I was going for. Like I wanted to really anytime he was within 35 hundredths coming out of the keyhole there, turn 2, I'd be on push to pass, and I'd take the inside. And I knew that wouldn't last long. He would be able to take advantage of that, and he had one really good look at it. He just went long and didn't quite work out for him.
Indeed. And on-track precision was particularly a key factor in this race, especially in the second half of every single lap, like China Beach, the S's, Thunder Valley, the carousel, on-track precision, being defensive, all those different factors that were coming to play there together. Just talk about how difficult it was for you to keep concentration on making sure that you stayed in front of Sexton there, like with all the pressure that you were feeling from him, from Andy Hertel throughout the whole race.
Yeah, when Andy was right between us in the first stint, it was tough. Like Andy was flying, he was on the better tires, he was on the alternates. He had a few good looks, and I think it worked out in my favor that Brad was just right behind him. So Andy was dealing with trying to make a pass on a difficult track to pass, while playing defensive and not trying to get past while he's setting something up. So it's a very difficult position Andy was in. And he held on so much. Like I thought, 5 laps, tires kind of fall off. He was there the whole time with a damaged wing. He would have absolutely sailed ahead without that. The cones here are made of steel. They'll just take a wing out. So that first lap kind of incident. And then with Brad just behind me that whole second stint, trying to hit my marks because it's so easy on such a hot track to lock up and just go a little wide, light the rears up just a little bit, and you lose 0.3 or a full second, and it's gone. So just trying to hit my marks, keep an eye on everything, and take it from there.
Now, I'm unsure if you have the knowledge of this, but in our live chat, your teammate and buddy there, Steven Ellis, who obviously wasn't able to make it here tonight to race in the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer, for pretty much the entire race, he was chirping the hell out of your teammate that you ended up beating eventually. Would you at all agree that maybe there was that was a potential factor in you being able to hang on over him?
I'd like to think so. I can't say that. I don't have the stream up. I might have ADHD, but I certainly can't pay attention to y'all commentating the race while it's happening. It's too much. It's too much for me. I don't think Brad does either. I don't think he's checking it out. But yeah, that's what I think happened. Definitely. Huge props to Steven, pit crew, making sure Brad was emotionally drained and unable to pass on track.
Right on. Now, finally, for the first time since the championship finale last season, you now get this opportunity here to thank each and every person that helps contribute to you being able to come on out every single Tuesday night and get the job done, especially get the job done here tonight. Who would you like to thank and shout out?
Well, I mean, obviously everyone in the series, like just continuing to come out, week after week, having fun, improving, like it's awesome. Like I'm really thankful for everyone who, continues to show up and just continues to get better every single week. And then this by now, it got maybe old in the Dart series when I was able to, get a first place, here and there. But my wife, for giving me, the time and encouraging me to, come out here and have fun.
Awesome to hear it. It's really great to be talking with you here once again, and hopefully we'll be talking with you a couple more times here as Season 3 of the Canadian Motorsports Network IndyCar Series continues to unravel here towards the championship finale in mid-December. But with all that being said, that does it for this post-race winner interview here from the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. The number 32 of Charlie Sears finally back in victory lane after 8 races in a row of going winless. And I guess the final question, Charlie, is are you going to survive Indy 500 qualifying soon?
No, I have no hope for that. I would love to put up 4 clean laps. Like that's a win for me. That's a pole position. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm then looking forward to the race and improving from wherever I end up.
Alrighty then, best of luck in just a little bit here, bud, and once again, congrats on the win.
Okay, thank you very much.
And so that wraps up the post-race winner interview there for the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. Charlie Sears getting the win. And now, Jordy, Indy 500 qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, as if we didn't have enough excitement already, right? Like, that's, that was just the appetizer for really the main course of the evening. As long as both of us can stay awake here, that's the adjustment I've got to make being back on the East Coast now. Yeah. But, I think we've had plenty of excitement to keep us on the edge of our seats already. And I think just as these times start to roll in, it's just going to get better and better from there. So I am very much looking forward to seeing how things go once we're back in 10 minutes? 15?
About that or so, yes. Of course, this current live stream, this current broadcast that we are operating right now is going to come to an end, but we are going to have a new one out very soon here on the Canadian E-Motorsports Network YouTube channel for Canadian E-Motorsports Network Indianapolis 500 qualifying. As Jordy said, in about 10 minutes or so, we'll have that new one ready to go, so stay tuned here on the YouTube channel. Stay tuned on our social media pages. We will share it. But of course, that does it for live coverage of the first annual Mid-Ohio 90 presented by Bangarang Hard Seltzer. Congratulations to the number 32 of Charlie Sears at a 499 Racing and at a Charlottesville, Virginia, going to victory lane for the first time since the championship finale back in Season 2. Stay tuned, folks, and also thank you very much for watching, listening, and tuning in to tonight's action. See you in a little bit.